Jai Shri Mataji. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Let's bow down to Shri Mataji, raise our Mother Kundalini, and put Bandhan. Shri Ganesh Mantra.
श्री आदिशक्ति माता जी, श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः।
Let us balance our left channel. Shri Mataji, Sakshat, you are Shri Ganesha. Sakshat, you are Shri Mahakali. Kindly remove all the imbalances in our left channel. Let us bring our both hands on the Mother Earth. Mataji, kindly awaken all the qualities of Shri Ganesha. Let us bring both our hands on the lap. Move our attention from Mooladhara to Sahasrara slowly on the central channel. Let's keep our attention steady on Sahasrara. Mataji, kindly bless us with thoughtless state. Let us listen to Shrimataji's speech.
Today we are celebrating the Sahasrara Day. Perhaps we have not realized what a day it must have been. Without opening the Sahasrara, God itself was a myth. Religion itself was a myth. All talk about divinity was a myth. People believed in it, but it was just a belief. And the science, as it was put forward, was about to obliterate all the value system, all the proof of God Almighty. If you see in the history, one after another, when science established itself, the people who are so called in charge of the helm of affairs in religion, in different religions, tried to cope with the findings of the science. They tried to show that, all right, if it is said this much is in the Bible, and if it is wrong, we should correct it. Especially Augustine did that. And it started looking as if it's all a stupidity. These scriptures were just mythical. At least Quran itself, though had lots of things which were describing the biology of today, they could not believe that human beings were specially created by God. They thought it was just a matter of chance that one after another the animals acquired a situation by which they became human beings. Thus, all the time, divinity was challenged, and there was no way of giving a proof of whatever is said in the Bible or in the Quran or in the Gita or in the Upanishads or in the Torah. Any one of these things could not be proved because it was still just a faith. Very, very few people got their realization, and when they talked, people did not believe them and thought that they are just trying to say something which they are using to propound their own theories. So the whole thing became a kind of a dead science. There was no science of religion. People started thinking that what's the use of following these 10 commandments or these strict rules of life because by following that, you gain nothing. You lose all the fun of the life. And why to think of gaining some punyas also? And that is how all the time there was a big derailment of human value system. Also, these organized religions, these monotheistic organized religions, started taking to course of gaining power or gaining money because they thought that's the only way you can control people and can go on. They were least bothered as to deliver the goods, whatever have been described in the Bible. Bible, of course, was tampered very much and has been lot of changes in that. And a person like Paul and Peter, who joined together, tried to spoil most of the truth. Though Quran was not so much touched, but still is dealt more with the right side, with the reproduction system and all those things. And so many things are still ambiguous. Now, simultaneously, two things have happened. I don't know if you are aware of it or not. First thing that has happened is that now we have a new science of microbiology, in which we have discovered that every cell has got a DNA tape. Every cell has got a program in it. As we have in a computer a chip, every cell has got a tape in it, in a way that it is programmed. And according to that program, the development takes place. Now imagine the intricacy of the whole thing. So many computers are already programmed, and all these cells have these in them. So a very mysterious sort of thing has come up before the scientist, and they cannot explain it. They cannot explain many things. But one of them is this. Now, what Sahaja Yoga has done, that it has proved that it is the will of God, it is the desire of God, the will of God, which is doing all the work. And it has been proved. All this Chaitanya, Adi Shakti is nothing but the will of God. And will of God is the one is working out everything very harmoniously. I don't know if some of you must have read my book, first book, where I have described how this earth was created. There was a bang, but it was very harmonious. And how it developed is through the will of God. So everything was done in a way that God's will was working. Now, the will of God you are feeling on your fingertips. After realization, now you have discovered the absolute science, which is the will of God, which is an absolute science. You people know that we have cured people through Sahaja Yoga. You also know giving bandhan and all that things work out. So many things work out automatically after realization that people don't want to believe. In the beginning, people would not believe when the scientist told them something. But now it is, you can see the science is always in the flux, all the time changing. One theory is again challenged, another theory is again challenged. But Sahaja Yoga has exposed you to that great truth of science which cannot be challenged, which is all there. So anybody who comes out with a new proposal about defaming God or saying that there is no God, we can prove. Not that there is God, but everything, the creation of this earth, the creation of human beings and everything was done harmoniously by the will of God. if will of God has done everything, the human beings should not take any credit for discovering some things which are created by God. Supposing this carpet is made by somebody and we start discovering all the colors, what is so great? It is all there. You cannot create. So it is not the creation part of it so much important, but the fashioning of this world, whole thing, was done by the will of God. Now, if the will of God is so important, it has to be proved. And now through Sahaja Yoga, after the breaking of the Sahasrara, you have now for the first time felt the will of God, which is such an important thing. But for us, it is come to us so sahaj that we don't understand. We just give the bandhan and the things work out. And we feel that the things have worked out. So it is bandhan which has worked out, and we have managed everything. It's not so. It's much more than that. We have now become part and parcel of that big computer, of that will of God. We have become the medium, or we can say the channels of that will of God. We are connected with that will of God which created all this universe. So everything we can manage because we have got the absolute science in our hand. The absolute science which will work out the betterment of the whole world. We can prove it to the scientist that there is a will of God which has done all this creation. Even evolutionary process is the will of God. Without His will, nothing could have happened. So many people used to say that not even a blade of grass moves without the will of God, which is a very true thing. And you have seen now that the will of God we have got as our own power. We can use it. So, how important it is to be a Sahaja. Perhaps we don't realize how important it is to be a Sahaja. Sahaja is not only for saying, Mother, I am full of joy, I am enjoying myself, I got purified, everything is fine. But for what? Why did you get all these blessings? Why you have been cleansed? So that this knowledge of will of God should be apparent in you. Not only that, should be a part and parcel of you. So we have to raise our level. We have to come up. For mediocre and ordinary people, it is really useless to give them Sahaja Yoga because they are good for nothing. They are not going to help us in any way because what is needed is now today that we should have people who can really manifest and reflect the will of God. And for that, you can understand we have to have very strong people because this will has created this whole universe, the cosmos, this Mother Earth. Everything is created by this will of God. So now we are exposed to a new dimension, and that dimension is that we are ones who are channels of that will of God. So then, what is our duty? And what should we do about it? As a result of Sahasrara being opened out, one thing, the illusions have vanished. What you call Sanskrit is Bhranti. Illusions have vanished. You should have no illusion as to the existence of God Almighty, the power of His will, and the truth about such. You should have no doubts at all. Minimum of minimum should be like that. But while using this power, you should be aware that this power is given to you because you are capable of handling it. Is it the highest power that you could think of? Take any governor, take any minister, anyone, they can be removed tomorrow. They can become corrupt. They can become absolutely devoid of any knowledge of their own powers. There are many people who just get elected without knowing what they have to do. So this is not just a conversion of people. It's not only even transformation, but it is a new fashioning of a new human being which has come forward and which is capable of carrying the will of God further. So, as a result of your realization, what you have got, the first thing that has happened is that your illusions have gone. You should have no illusions about God Almighty, His will, and that He is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. All His omnipotence has done this work. And as collective consciousness, you should also know that you are also omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. Omniscient is the thing that He sees everything, knows everything. Part of it, that power, is also within you. So, to prove His omnipresence, you have to be all the time aware that you are Sahajogis. When I find even now, Sahajogis struggling about their wives, their children, their house, their jobs, I start wondering, what is their level now? Where are they? When are they going to take up the role of what they have got? So the omnipotent God who is everywhere, who has done all this, the will of God that has worked it out, has to work through you people. And you have to be very strong, very sensible, very wise, also very effective people. The more effective you become, the more energy you will get. But still I feel that the Sahajogis are more not taking the responsibility of understanding that they have to represent this God Almighty who is omnipresent, omniscient, who knows everything, who sees everything, and who is potent, means almighty. If you understand that this is what has happened after opening the Sahasrara, that you have now got the power which has these three qualities in it. Say now this big thing has to be supported by a strong pillars. But supposing if they are not strong, it will fall down. In the same way, such a great power which has come to you. For that, we don't need very successful people. We don't need people who have a big name or those who have lots of money. What we need, people of character, people of understanding, of wisdom, and of strength. That whatever may come, I will stand by it. I will take to it. I'll cope with it. I'll change myself and improve myself. So now illusion has been dispelled. I hope you all have got rid of your illusions. Also, you should have no illusions about yourself. If you have any illusions, you should leave such. But know that you are chosen for this purpose by God's will. That's why you are here. And you have to take it up the responsibility of understanding this science, which is absolute, and working it out yourself, for yourself as well as for others. You have felt my love, but your love must be felt because God is love. So your love must be felt by others. Others must feel that you are compassionate, loving, understanding. That's all the time. This will of God is flowing through you. And you have to work it out in such a manner that people should know that you are a saint, that this power is flowing through you. Then the second thing that has happened to you is that not the illusion about God and about yourself. Second thing that has happened, that you have understood the integration. That in the world there is complete integration which is existing. Normally, if you see the children, they have their own natural, innate understanding. They know. If you see normally a good child would always like to share his things, would like to love another child. If there's another little child is there, would like to protect that child. Naturally. It won't think whether it has black hair or red hair or blue hair. Naturally, innately, a child feels that. Also, if you take another child, suppose, who is a little baby, they know that one should be careful about the privacy of the body. Children don't want to be made nude before others. No child likes it. Innately, they know. So all these innate qualities are within you. Children don't like to steal it. They don't know what stealing is. They have no idea of stealing. I have seen also children that if they go to a place which is very beautiful, in somebody's house, they will always try to keep the beauty of that place. But if it is already shabby, they don't mind. So innately all these qualities are there. I think the countries which are supposed to be underdeveloped have so many of these qualities within them, which are innately built within us. Innocence is innately built. So the will of God built up, first and foremost thing was innocence, the auspiciousness. The first thing he did was to create Sri Ganesha. Or I would say she, because the will of God is Adishakti. And all this was created, first of all, to make the whole world very beautiful. All these innate qualities were also placed within you. All those deities were placed within you, were specially made human beings that they should become saintly people, that they should have their saintly innate sense. But it happened in the countries which developed that our brain was bombarded by all kinds of television, all kinds of things, and we became very, we can say, we became very vulnerable. We started getting into the ideas of others. Anybody who is dominating could dominate us. It's not only Hitler who dominated people. We also see today how much we are dominated if you really detach yourself from this world. For example, fashions. Certain things that come up, people cannot give at any cost. They cannot take to something that is sensible because it's a fashion. For example, nowadays there's a fashion say to have such a small skirt. You can't get a long skirt anywhere. Everybody has to wear that kind of a skirt. Otherwise, you are not in the madhouse. Now, this kind of thing is bombarded on us morning till evening. So, first of all, we become slaves of these entrepreneurs. Whatever they give us now, I was told, and in Belgium you cannot get anything fresh. You have to take everything from the supermarket, which is all tinned. Gradually, what is happening to us? We are getting absolutely artificial. The food is artificial, the dress is artificial, our whole attitude becomes artificial. Because we are so much bombarded by advertisement, by all kinds of outside influences, that we just get lost and we forget what is our innate sense, which is being dominated by all these modern things. So, adding up to the science, also there is a big progress in another direction that we can call the money became very important. Once the money becomes important, then all your entrepreneur become important because they know how to make money and we fool you all the time. Today you have this thing, tomorrow you have that thing, today you change this and have this thing. But those people who are innately built, they do not change. They have their dresses of the same type, they do not change. On the contrary, they find it very difficult to get out of their traditional achievements and they don't want to change themselves. So for Sahajogis, it is important to see and watch if they are getting this slavery from the entrepreneurs in the modern times. Then the thoughts. So many books we read, which gives you thoughts, which are some mad rambling, I would say, of some madman, like Freud. How could Freud influence the West? Because you have lost your innate sense and you accept it. You accepted that, and that's how Freud became your sort of a Jesus Christ. He became the most important thing. Sex became the most important thing. I mean, it's so simple. With little common sense, you can understand that at every moment we are put into this kind of a domination by these few domineering people who have certain ideas and they put forward. Anybody puts any idea, for example, Saad or Sartre or anyone, that idea starts becoming, oh, he said it. Who is he? What is his life? Just see for yourself what sort of a man he is. With little common sense, but with your will that you have now, will of God, which has fashioned the whole world, which has fashioned you, every cell within you has been fashioned by God Almighty. And what are you doing is to play into the hands of these entrepreneurs.
Mahamantras.
त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुण्डलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री सहस्रार स्वामिनी मोक्षप्रदायिनी माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः।
you, Shri Mataji, for this beautiful collective meditation. Yes, Shri Mataji. Let's bow down to Shri Mataji and take Bandhan.